Hey everybody. It's been a while since I've gone live on an actual streaming platform, so I don't know how well this is going to hold up, but I wanted to come on here and talk about a couple of the updates that are happening because I'm sure everybody's hearing about the scavenger returning. We're all excited, and some of us are more excited than others. I apologize if my voice is trash right now. I was forced to sing karaoke tonight. I wouldn't say forced, but um, after the band was done, after the headliner was done, PJ hands me a microphone and says, "Okay, it's karaoke time," and insists that I go up there and do in the end, which led to doing, I think, somewhere between 10 or 12 songs tonight. So, between me and, like, a few other people, I wasn't the only one singing karaoke, but they had me do everything, like metal. I did, like, Bring Me the Horizon. I did 2 Bring Me the Horizon songs. I did Teardrops and Can You Feel My Heart. I did some Bullet for My Valentine. I ended up doing sh- um, Head Over Heels by Tears for Fears, which is like a go to for me. Somebody else requested Everybody Wants to Rule the World. So, like, it was like a whole bunch of stuff. My last song of the night was Heartbreaker. So, I'm like in a little bit of a struggle right now because that last high sharp note is like, oh my God. Anyway, so getting back to my subject because ADHD, the scavenger tentatively returns February 20th. I have training on Thursday, which is supposed to make me ready for the board. He believes I can learn this stuff super fast because I'm already familiar with working in a radio station, being that I did it for like nearly 3 years. And I've also done this program off and on. So, for those of you who don't know what the scavenger is, and you're hearing all about the scavenger, and you're like, what is this thing that she's talking about? It is my passion project. The Scavenger is a show that I started in 2004 as a mini zine when I was just a journalist in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. I had this one page mini zine with a really old school logo, and I would write about local bands that I found. And at the time, I was dating the guitarist from Dead Helix, so I wrote a blurb about them, and there were some features of like album releases and things like that. So I keep track of these things in my head. So anyway, fast forward, I go to Kutztown and I join the radio station because I want to be part of their promotions department. The goal is to actually like just market them. I just want to help market the radio station. My career path was to be an A&R representative. For those of you who don't know, I really wanted to be an artist and repertoire agent so bad. Then I found out that they pay next to nothing to those people and that most of it is pre-generated by the record labels and it's a whole thing. So anyway, I joined the radio, and the president of the radio station at the time, Brandon Roman Cruz, says, "You've got a really great voice. I think you should do radio." And I'm just like, I don't know about that. And at the time, I was really comfortable with being a journalist. So I had signed on to work for Origination Magazine. Anthony Carotto hired me to work for Origination Magazine. I was more or less a columnist for CD reviews. They would send me a big box of demos every month, and I would go through them and I would write little blurbs. And that led me to being this band's show and tell's PR agent. And there was a whole slew of stuff that went along with that. So when I tell you I paid my dues in the industry, this is what I'm talking about. Anyway, I digress. So during this time, I decide, all right, I'll go through the training. What harm could it do? Right. Let's just see if I like the training. If I end up liking it, I'll do my own show. So I go through the training. I get the record number of calls and emails for doing live assist over. I got an 80s new wave block, and that's like my forte. So I know so much about 80s music. So like it was really exciting for me. And I just remember the most exhilarating moment in pretty much my entire life was when Ordinary World by Duran Duran was playing in the radio station. And I was just in my zone in the radio station in my own audio space and feeling so alive for the first time in my life. I just felt like this was it. This was what I wanted to do. And, other than being on stage, like I really loved promoting underground music. So I turned the mini zine into a radio program. And then I turned that radio program into kind of a sensation. We had a Friday 9 to 11 p.m. slot. I played a ton of bands on the show. Honestly, it's probably more than 48. I know that 9 of the bands, for fact, have gone on to major and minor label contracts. Whether or not I had anything to do with that, I like to think I had that much to do with it. But whatever. At least I tried. So I would go to concerts every other night of the week and I would pick up demos from this band and that band. Bands would send me demos from literally all over the world. I have a stamp collection and I've got demos from like Russia, Paraguay, Argentina, I got a demo from Egypt once. Like I've got like this huge stamp collection, like a ton from the UK, of course. But yeah, so like I ended up doing this thing like full time, and it's been a labor of love. And the show ran for 2.5 years. I stepped out in 2007 when I dropped out of school, but I did use Live 365 in 2008 to revive it. Did it for about a year, and then I brought it back in 2014. And that episode is still up on the interwebs on a Podomatic hosting platform. So if you're interested, I'll post the link at some point. But yeah, so that exists. Excuse me. I'm eating jalapeno poppers and they're intense. So yeah, now I have decided to bring this back. So this concept of this show that I've been doing, pretty much my whole life. I was going to bring it back in 2019? Yeah, 2019 when I did the Scavenger relaunch party showcase. We ended up doing this amazing show. I hosted, I also performed. Devin Massicus's band, is it Dead by Design? Fatal by Design. And Brittany Wardella performed, and we had an amazing comedian as our opener, and it was an incredible show. We forgot to hit record and that devastated me. Absolutely just broke me. So I mentally couldn't wrap my head around the concept of going forward with the show. I asked for demos, nobody had anything to give me, therefore the show was not born. It ended up going on the back burner, and I tried to revive it again in 2021. Same deal, not enough demos, couldn't actually go forward. Fast forward to today, I am a grad student at UNLV. I have been accepted to KUNV 95.1 FM because they know of my program in the past and the history that I have with it. And they wanted to bring me on board to do the same thing because nobody's doing an underground show at my school. So, guess who's their underground DJ? Yeah, so your stereo angel is back. Rachel Sinversa, your stereo angel is back, and I will be hosting the show on Fridays every other week from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Your demos can be sent to scavenger@rachelsinversa.com. I've posted a link in the description here. You can send those to me at any time. Just remember, you also need to fill out a consent to release Form A, which you can find on the website, which I've also bookmarked on the description of this video. It's also a link in my profile. So if you go to my profile, and I think it's like a bunch of my web links, there should be one specifically for the Scavenger, or you can click on the Rachel Sinversa link and then tap on Scavenger as soon as you get to my main website. So that's how I'm collecting demos. I will also be doing featured artists. I'll be doing interviews, live interviews. I will have one band on per show. This first episode, we're not going to have a band on because it's just an intro episode. So I've stacked up. I went through, I don't know, 50 demos today. I kept about 33 of them. I have a nice little list going. So we got some cool names on that list. I'm not going to give you all of them, but I can tell you right now, Young Vegas is going to be played, and Breezy BRG, who I actually know, and she turned up in my demos today. So that was wild. So congratulations, Bree. I freaking know you. I played DeLand Music Festival with you. So that was sick. She was literally on stage before me at DeLand Music Festival at the was it not the last one I played, the second to last one I played, the one where I had that video of me doing Forgive Me Not with Florida Man and his wig falls off. It's on my TikTok. Anyway, it's hilarious. But yeah, so she was the performer before me, and I saw her name in the file today, and I'm like, I know this one. And I listened to it. I was like, oh, I definitely know this one. So I know her from the Orlando crew because she's from Orlando, Florida. So she'll be on the show. And then I got a couple other bands that I've been collecting. Obviously, if you get your stuff in soon enough, you can potentially be on this show because I don't do show prep until 2 days prior, and I don't finalize the list until 2 hours prior to the show. So that way the vibes are right. I will not match you up against something that is totally off base, okay? Those of you who know that I really pride my format on front cell and back cell being like in a flow state. Okay. And a lot of the demos I got were jazz. And then I've got a couple blues ones. I've got some really amazing country songs that I found, and also like some hip hop and some really, really great pop songs. And of course, since I'm the featured artist, because it's the first episode, don't come for me. And I haven't been out there in a while. I made myself the featured artist this week, and I don't care. I don't care what anybody thinks because I am Rachel Sinversa. People should know what I do, but here's the caveat. My music after this first episode is request only. So if you want to hear my music, you can call in and request it live. And I will shuffle the order live if I need to, because I've done this stuff on the fly for so many years that I am so used to changing format last minute. It's not that serious. So feel free, call in, got a request, know your songs in the demo pile. You want to hear your song, I'll get to it when I get to it. If you're not already on the list, I'll find a way to fit you in because that's how we do it. And remember, it's a college station, so we still have to air PSAs. So, of course, keep in mind the timing blocks. That's why I'm asking for 4 minutes and under, because it's easier to block you in if I know how short your song is and where we can cut it. If it's a little over 4 minutes, I'll probably end up having to cut some of the intro or some of the outro, and that's fine. But ultimately, like, that's just how we do things. So yeah. Uh, so that makes sense with the demos. And so the show tentatively will be returning on February 20th, which is my mother's birthday. It is also after the Chinese New Year. So everything's forward momentum. So we don't know for sure, but I put out an invite just in case, because if you can't make this show, it'll be 2 weeks after that, because we've decided it's going to be on the weeks that I'm actually physically on campus because it will make it so much easier for me to remember. Because when you're almost 40, your memory is not what it was when you were 19 when I first started this. Holy wow. Here's another caveat. Your songs cannot break FCC regulations. That's 7 words by George Carlin. Yeah, none of those, please. Because when I'm listening to demos, if I hear one of them, it gets flagged and I instantly throw it in the rejection box. I'm sorry, I don't care how good it is. There were like 3 songs today where I was like, oh my God, I'm really loving this. I'm vibing. This is fun. And then I hear the N word or I hear the S word. And I'm just like, really? Like, this could have been something. So make sure that you have an edited version of your song when you're submitting demos to us. You can do this one of 2 ways. The school has their own demo submission, and I'll get to it eventually through our email, or you can do them directly to me. And if you do them directly to me, then you can just print off the consent to release form from my website. Or when you send the demo, if you ask nicely, I will happily send it back to you. Interviews. If you're going on the show for an interview, okay? Because this is going to be future episodes, onward, onward, onward. It does not matter if you live in Las Vegas or not. I do local, international, national, does not matter. I take demos from all over the world. I always have, I always will. I do not have a genre specific either. I just happen to block you in different genres. So my show is eclectic. You're going to hear 80s new wave, you're going to hear hip hop, you're going to hear industrial, you're going to hear metal, you're going to hear jazz, you're going to hear pop, whatever I feel like fits the format for that particular episode, whatever's flowing, whatever's vibing is going to be on the show. So it does not matter what genre you are. Okay. That's always been my thing. Open genre, open country, doesn't matter. When it comes to interviews, yes, I would prefer to have you in the studio. We do have a live interview space. If you cannot make it into the studio, we will do a live stream. I believe the way that we do this is you either call in or I can try to host through Streamlabs the way that I'm doing it, or StreamYard the way that I'm doing it now, because this is another hosting platform that we can use to bring in guests. The show is not a video program. However, I will be taping. Whether or not I'm live streaming like this still remains to be seen. I don't know. I have considered it. I need to figure out configuration for doing the show live and whether or not I have the space to do that or if the internet is fast enough. So those are still semantics I'm working out. But I will be taking at least video clips and I will be recording myself doing the show in the studio for the sake of content creation. So I don't know if you're going to be hearing your song out loud through that, if it's going to be loud enough. Like I know that when I was in the studio, I could hear the song super loud when I was at KUR, but I don't know how KUNV's setup is. I know it's a booth, but I'm assuming it's headphones. So I'm still learning. Once I figure all that out, we'll figure out the semantics of call ins. I know that we have a live call in. I do not know the number yet. I will get that to you before the next episode. So, episode one, like I said, just to make everybody's life easier, I'm the featured artist. If I do have the ability to do a call on episode one, if someone wants to volunteer to ask me questions like an interview, you are more than welcome to do so. Or you can type up questions and I can ask them to myself live over the air if we can't figure out the calling configuration. Does that does that make sense to everybody? I hope that makes sense. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to me. You can DM me on Facebook. You can DM me on Instagram. It's the same call numbers. Facebook.com/Rachel, which is spelled like Raichu, the Pokemon with a YL at the end, RAICHYL. My personal website is Rachel Sinversa, so RAICHYLSINVERSA.com. The Scavenger is under a subdomain, so it's rachelsinversa.com/scavenger. And that's how you get to my website. Or you can go to my personal website and click the little tiny link that says Scavenger, and that will take you directly to my website. On my website, there is a direct link that says Listen Live. That will take you to the KUNV website. I do not know where the listening button is once you get to their website, but that button will at least get you to their website so that you can click on the Listen Live button on that website so you can hear it whatever country you're in. Keep in mind that if you're calling into the show, there's always a delay. We have a delay just in case something goes wrong. It's always been like this. It's 3 to 6 seconds. It's not major, but if you're hearing yourself in one room and you're calling in and it's not matching up, it might confuse you. So I'm just giving you a heads up. If you've never called radio before, it's exactly like that. This is terrestrial radio. In spite of the fact that it's a web stream, it's still terrestrial radio. Okay. So now we've covered all of those bases. You've seen the promos. I'm inviting people to come and watch via the event page. I'll be making a new group for the Scavenger because my old one, I don't even have any control over it. Or I might modify the old one. I don't know who's in it. I don't know if anybody wants me to do that. Let me know in the comments if you want me to keep the existing group or build a new one. There is already the Scavenger page on Facebook. I believe it's facebook.com/the Scavenger, but I could be wrong. I just know that if you search pages here on Facebook, you'll find it, or there's a link directly on my website here on Facebook. If you're following me already, thank you for that. If you're not following me already and you want to stay updated on this stuff, I recommend that you follow my Rachel Sinversa page that I'm doing this live from to stay updated so that you can keep in the know about what's going on with the Scavenger. I also recommend that you follow the Scavenger page because I'm going to be posting featured artists. I'll have a featured artist application once I'm going to start to kind of like figure out which genre we want to go with first and who I think is a good fit. My first featured artist more than likely will be somebody here in Las Vegas because then I can bring them into the studio, but I'm not sure yet. So all of that is up in the air. All I know is that episode 1 will be launching soon, and I want everybody to be prepared for when it launches because I've done this before. I'm no stranger to radio. I'm no stranger to hosting. I just want to make sure that everybody else is on the same page as me. If you have not sent in a demo, and I've gotten quite a few of them, make no mistake. I got an inbox full in my scavenger at rachelsinversa.com email. And again, that link is in the description of this video. If you haven't gotten in a submission yet, you still have plenty of time. Like I said, he still needs me to go through training. So I do believe that tentatively my first episode is on the 20th of February. So I'm not 100% on that. Just know that it's going to be every other week live from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. So you can tune in and listen live no matter where you are. If you are local to Las Vegas, it is 95.1 FM here in Las Vegas. So you can turn on terrestrial radio and you'll hear my voice. Yay. And I'm sorry if I don't have much of a voice right now. Like I said earlier, I was singing karaoke all night. And yeah, they made me sing metal. So for those of you who missed that. But yes, so any questions that you have, please, please, please post them in the comments. Feel free to send me a DM. But if you're interested in more information about submissions, type submissions in the comments. Let me know that you have interest. If you've got a song that you think is like the best thing since sliced bread, I really want to hear it. So get at me, because the sooner you get at me, the sooner I can put you in a lineup, because I have not completely organized. Just because I have a bunch of artists to work with doesn't mean I've formatted yet. I'm very picky about my formatting. Like I said, all genres welcome, but I block my genres. So I'm not going to put a metal song and a jazz song together. It's not going to happen. I will, however, put two jazz songs together, front cell, back cell, or back cell, then front cell, and then do a metal block. Like that's possible. So it depends on what people send me and how I think that the music is flowing, because I'm a DJ first. So I'm going to treat this like a live event when I'm on the air. So I think that just about covers it. As far as Rachel Sinversa is concerned, Rachel Sinversa is working on new music. For those of you who don't know, I am looking for a new engineer. I have been talking to some people, but I want someone that really gets the vision. They have to be on the level that Paul Lipinski was on, so that it matches what else is going on this record. And after this record is done, I'm going to get darker. So, and those of you who have seen my weird comments lately, I'm sure you know what that means. I keep asking about drop tunings and and bizarre questions about pedals and bass sounds. I did buy a bass guitar also, so there's that. So this is gonna be fun. There's a lot of cool fun stuff. In the future, there is a possibility of another Rachel Sinversa live stream show, kind of like from my living room. I don't know how much I can get away with here. I know that my internet connection seems to be pretty stable now that I have T-Mobile instead of the internet that they gave me. So there's a possibility. If not, I have other options, and I do have some irons in the fire in terms of spaces where I can make that happen. Now, for those of you who will not get off my case about Sinversa in Sin City, it's not happening, okay? It is absolutely happening. I was just at Origin Studios the other day doing a networking event. I've been talking to some people. I might be featured on some things, but also this show is definitely happening. I need people to interview for this show. This is separate from the music thing, that are trying to change their life. I ask you a series of questions, and ultimately, I hope that it sparks something inside of you that makes you want to make big changes. That's the goal of the show. It's a variety show, so it does have a few different blocks of things that are going on. The first episode is going to have a big block about my life story, because why not? And then it's going to go into the format of what we do. I'll have probably 4 guests for the game show segment, and then a little bit of a comedy block. And then also like a what's happening in Vegas type thing, because I'm in Sin City. So why not? That is not ready. While I'm doing my internship working at the TV station, I will be learning stuff behind the cameras, editing, all kinds of post-op stuff that I want to bring to the table before I launch the pre-recorded show that we were all talking about. That's not gonna be live streamed, it's gonna be on YouTube. I haven't decided if I'm keeping my Ray Eliza Sin channel or if I'm going to write a totally new channel just for that show so that we can build up a following, like, organically. So that is all remaining to be seen. But right this very moment, the most important thing is the relaunch of The Scavenger, which, again, those of you who know, you know, I put on a lot of bands. I've spent the better part of 20 years of my music career helping other artists get exposure. So now this is me coming back to that. My music will be request only after the first episode, but if you tune into the first episode, you're going to hear one of my songs because I'm the featured artist and I'm allowed. So, like I said, if you have issues with that, that's not my problem. But yeah, I think I've said everything I need to say about the scavenger and the future of this show. So if you have any questions, like I said, please put them in the comments. If you have a song that you want me to go and take a look at, please type submissions in the comments and I will get to you. And we're going to make this big. I'm ready when you are. I love you all. Stay blessed. Stay tuned.